ఎంతమంది వచ్చారు?
14.
ఒక 2 minutes చూద్దామా?
సరే. Hemant, you start.
Done. సరే, నేను స్టార్ట్ చేస్తున్నా. సో హలో ఎవ్రీవన్, సికాసా హైదరాబాద్. అరే ఒక నిమిషం.
Guys, we'll wait for 2 more minutes so that some more people can join and we'll start.
Okay, guys, so we'll start the session. Good evening, everyone. Sikasa Hyderabad welcomes you back to the webinar on industrial training. As we have already done with the part 1, so this is the part 2. So where we'll be covering some few, topics on interview, post-interview, all the stuff. So I welcome each and everyone to this webinar session. Now, my other teammate, a secretary, Madhushree, will take care. Madhushree?
Hello, hi everyone.
Over to you.
So hello, hi everyone. Hope you are all doing well. Just a second. Okay. So, okay. I guess am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
So hi all, welcome back to the one more session. So the first session is very super hit. Hope you all attended the session and you were the part of the session, and you have also saw it on the YouTube. So the second session here goes about so many interview questions, like throughout the interview, what kind of questions you might face and all, and the basic interview questions like stipend, like the process of interviews and all. So let me introduce you to the speakers for the session. We have Shreya, who is in UBS right now, and we have Srishti, who is also working in UBS, and Ambika, Dr. Reddy's Laboratories. Hruday is working in Red Hill, and Jeevan is working in HSBC. So let me all take you to the first session, like introduction session for the speakers. So I request Shreya to introduce herself and start with the session.
Thank you, Madhushree. Uh, Hi, everyone. This is Shreya. Uh, I I've completed my industrial training in UBS in product control domain in group treasury. Um, in the past session, already Srishti has covered what UBS is, and on a broader level, what are the domains that industrial trainees are being taken into in UBS. My work involves like product control, as the name suggests. Products. The products that we deal in are derivatives, options, swaps that we mostly deal in AFM subject in our CA final. So more or less, they expect us to have AFM knowledge. Basically, the trading desk of UBS is the main investment banking desk. They do trades on a daily basis, like the trades are executed within minutes. And on T+1 basis, that is, yesterday's trades are reported on today. And we, as backend of that function, we are basically in finance. So what we do is we validate those trades as per the policy of UBS. It is more likely like risk management. On a daily basis, we prepare PNLs, and month end there will be month end reporting into balance sheet of the amounts. So basically, the ups and downs of the market will be recorded on a daily basis in the profit and loss account. The products that I have dealt with are swaps. And okay, this is a brief introduction about me. I've also completed one and a half year in articleship in BDO in statutory audit domain. I would like to give you a brief about my interview experience as well. 3 months before I became eligible as an industrial to pursue industrial training, I started applying to companies through LinkedIn and through career portals as well. I specifically choose which companies I wanted to go. In that, UBS was also there. So I prepared my resume accordingly to the job description that they are looking for. Then I gave my interview in Goldman Sachs, UBS, as well as Amazon. I was selected in Amazon and UBS. Coming to the interview day and interview questions, it more or less revolves around your articleship experience. You should be in a position to explain about your articleship, the work you did in those 1 year or 1.5 year, and the companies you dealt with, and what you have added as a person in the team. So basically, can you imagine your interviewer asking your question, tell me something that is not there in your interview?
Sorry to interrupt, Shreya. Just a second. Actually, our Sikasa chairman, Sai Charan Reddy sir, has just joined. So over to you, sir. Please address the gathering.
Yeah, hi guys. Good evening, everyone. Sorry for the delay. Yeah, sorry, Shreya, to interrupt you.
No worries.
Yeah,
Sir.
first of all, like I would like to thank all the speakers because taking out some time and sharing your knowledge is really a great thing. And I hope like for all the viewers also, in the last session you had some value addition. And going forward also we'll be planning few sessions which are really useful for you in the career path. Maybe like other new fields like FEMA and all, also we'll try to explore AI and all. And hopefully you would all be liking them. And I don't want to take much time. You people please continue. And I wish all of you all the best.
Thank you, sir. Shreya, you can continue now.
Yeah. So in UBS, I was asked this question in my interview. What is that thing that you did not mention on your resume? Usually resume, we mention everything that we have ever done, certifications, our work, and whatever we are good at, everything will be there in the resume. That was a shocker to me. I didn't know at that moment how to answer it. Even I was nervous. I took a moment and I told them something that I was going through that time. I was going through a US GAAP audit, and that was not mentioned in my resume. So I was able to add it there. And you can also say something as a skill that you as a person can give, so that they can understand, okay, this person can answer something spontaneously as well. So that was a question that troubled me in the interview more than any other technical questions. Uh, so in UBS interview, my interview was around 45 minutes. Trust me, it was a literal grilling session. I did not expect I will be selected, but somehow I was selected there. Um, so they asked me about same, like what are the products they were dealing in. They wanted me to know, have a basic knowledge of that. What are interest rate swaps? What are credit default swaps? So you can even quote an example, like the way we learn in AFM. You can quote it as well. And they gave me a question, like they gave me a transaction and asked me to give me an entry where does this transaction stand in balance sheet, where does it stand in profit and loss account, and what are the implications, and where does it go in notes to accounts. And more questions were on behavioral. UBS has a great culture, and they want candidates who reflect the same. Even if you apply for UBS like UBS industrial training, the first one would be behavioral assessment. Like most 80 to 90%, they will be shortlisted there only. Like they'll be asking you questions like they'll be like your colleague, they're suffering from some kind of illness, will you be able to take up their work? And also you already have certain number of tasks, how would you be able to accommodate these also? I answered in a way saying that I will talk to my manager first, what are the prioritized tasks to be done, because not everyone can do 15 tasks in a day. So we should be able to give a reasonable answer there. Then I even asked my interviewer after going to UBS, like, what was the thing that you liked me that I was selected? I heard there were many members who were not selected. Like what she told me is people were literally putting stamps or sticky notes, and they were answering, or they are literally reading out what interest rate swap is. That is not what they're expecting. And what a good thing that I did in my interview was, if I didn't know something, I told them honestly that I don't know it, like not in this way. Like I told them, I'm unable to recall it right now. I would refer back and get back. And this thing, like the way she told me, you were the first person who admitted it. And that was the reason we thought your honesty was correct and we need to take you in our team. And also the interview sources that helped me were in YouTube, LinkedIn, or even in Instagram. We all use it on a daily basis. There are many channels, many accounts that provide interview tips, and we can actually incorporate those into this. And also do not end your interview without any question. That was a suggestion I would like to give, because you should this shows your keenness and your interest in a particular role. Like you should be able to ask them, like, what does a busy day look like in my current role? Like they will give you some kind of an answer. Or what is expected out of me as an intern? Meanwhile, do you want me to focus on something that I can learn and join when I join UBIS? So these kind of questions triggers them, like, okay, this person has an interest to come into a company. Like, imagine there are some 5 candidates and 4 were not asking any questions and one was asking, like, there will be some kind of an edge. That is what I wanted to say. So that was one. And then I had my interview in Goldman Sachs. That interview was a blessing. Like, it was more like a conversation. My UBS interview was grilling session, and Goldman Sachs was very, like, we were just having a conversation. What did you do in articleship? I was explaining what I did and what are your skills. Like, you mentioned this, so what did you do to get them? All of that. I thought, yes, this is going to happen, and I'm going into Goldman Sachs. But it happened reverse. Goldman Sachs, I was not selected, and I was selected in UBS. So things can go, like, turn differently than we expect. It's just that we shouldn't take it personally, and it is not our fault all the time. Better to improve and move on with it. It's just that it may not be right time with the right person there, and we may not give our best all the time. Even that happens. And online interview, mostly I've attended online interviews. In my MCS, I've attended a physical interview as well. So I got first place in that. So these channels, YouTube channels and all, I was going through them so that I should be able to prepare for my initial training, and that experience helped me in MCS as well. I'm giving you a raw feedback. Literally behind the desk, my hand was shaking, and no one was able to know that. Like, they were like, "You're so confident." I'm like, "No, my hand was literally shaking." How I I kept that temperament. I tried to not show it on my face, though they say everything that was happening. So even that, like, you should be able to manage your nervousness. And trust me, like, more than online interview, offline interview are more manageable, and you'll have control there. You can just look into their eyes. You can have eye contact. It shows a sign of respect that, okay, like, whatever they are saying, you're listening and you are reflecting or giving answers back without looking here and there. And few tips on online interviews: make sure you keep your internet uh, connectivity good. If you have mobile hotspot or something, keep it on so that you can switch back when you have power cut. In my interview, there was a power cut and I was gone for like 5 minutes. Maybe that would also be a factor. And also try to on your camera. Like, it happened in one of my interviews as well. The interviewer did not on their camera, so I thought I shouldn't also. That was a genuine mistake. So we should on it, and they want to see our expressions. They want to see how we are taking any kind of grilling questions as well. And in Amazon, the role was FP&A. More or less, it revolved around the same thing, like analysis part. And what questions that we need to prepare. First, self introduction. That always has a major role. You can't just, like, you can say what is your name, what is your experience, and what are you good at. Like, with one skill, you need to explain why you are good at it. I can work better under pressure and all, but everyone says that. But I have to quote an example. Why am I saying this? So I have given an example that happened in my articleship, and yes, like, it always differentiates you from some other when you give such examples and all. Um, and stipend, coming to stipend, in Amazon, it is okay. I will give you a range. It is not allowed in few companies to publicly say everything. UBS or Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, everything in investment banking, more or less there'll be back end of investment banking, core investment banking roles. We are not yet there. So there it will be around 50K to 75K. And in this normal companies in the industry, they give around, the starting would be 20, and it goes around, a normal range would be 40K. And like bigger companies like BCG and all, they go beyond 1 lakh. So that is the stipend range. Yeah, this is my experience. Hope you found something useful. Thank you.
Thank you, Shreya. Now I request Srishti to take over the session.
Yeah. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Trista.
Yeah. So, hello everyone. Hi again from the session one. So, basically, those who were not there into the session one, I'm CA Srishti Sahu. I currently completing my industrial training in UBS. Like as Shreya is also my friend, we are from the same UBS organization, and I am into cost controlling. So, yeah, Sampath, you will ask or shall I cover?
Anything, Manishri, just take over that.
Oh,
Or else I will just ask the questions.
yeah,
So,
you might,
so
ask it.
mostly, I wanted to like, how's the UBS selection process?
Okay, so just like Shreya already added, whenever a candidate applies at the UBS, so the first step would be your CV will be screened by all the HRs or the hiring team. Then, once your CV is shortlisted, or even before shortlisting of the CV, you will receive a cultural assessment test. So basically, that question does the test does not consist of anything like technical questions, derivatives, or nothing like that. It will just have few case scenarios which are related to your behavioral perspective. Like as Shreya quoted, that if you are having a lot of work and you are being assigned by the work of your team member as well who is not well, then how will you look after? Then if you have done something wrong, how will you make your manager aware about? So mostly this is the test through which UBS wants to know, are you culturally fit for the organization? Because in many of the cases people will have all the technical knowledge but the basic humanitarian qualities that are missing. And given the UBS culture, which is very inclusive, that becomes the first ground rule for UBS to hire any intern or any employee. So that's the first step. Then once you clear your cultural assessment test, and if you have passed the cutoff score what they have, then you will receive a call for the interview. So few of the interns, like before joining UBS, prior to their interview, they are not aware like which department or which domain UBS is hiring them for. Many a times HR may tell you, okay, you are being hired for GT product control, you have been hired for equity derivatives and all that. So generally, the selection process ranges from one technical round followed by another higher management technical round in few of the teams. Otherwise, it is done into one technical round itself. And as Shreya have already covered, like few questions that are asked into the technical rounds depend upon your profile. Like for me, my interview in UBS was, as soon as I started, at the first my manager introduced me to the entire process. What is group cost controlling? What do they do there? So first they'll brief you entirely about the process, and now they will expect you whatever you have heard from your manager about the process. They will ask you basic questions which they know that you are not too much in deep like aware about the process or the work that in backend IB or the group functions happen. So they'll test you more on the basic parts of the process, and then your articleship experience. Being confident is one of the major key in the UBS interview. The way confidence you have, because many a times you will get here a chance to interact with some of the legal entity controllers which are present all across the globe. So the major criteria is your communication skills as well. So the first or second round of interview, and post that within a week or a two, you will receive a mail or a call from the HR if you are shortlisted. And then your offer letter and background verification process. And this is one thing for UBS, your offer letter generation may take up to 20 to 25 days post your selection. So that's the point of span of time of 20 to 25 days where most of the candidates panic. Okay, I have been selected. They are saying that, but what if they back out? So if you are getting a mail that you are selected, UBS will never back out and say that no, we are canceling your selection. That 25 days time is taken just to verify your background. As I already mentioned, because UBS is a culturally rich organization, so they want whatever the candidates they are joining there, they should have a proper background. So they do all their verifications and check, and then your offer letter is received. So this is what the entire selection process of UBS looks like.
So, what kind of technical questions did they ask you in the interview?
Okay, so mine was specific to cost controlling. So first of all, my manager gave me a scenario. Ki, okay, there's a hospital and there's this n number of beds, say 100 beds. Then how, on what basis will you accommodate? If there are people who have studied costing in their intermediate or even in SPOM, then there was a chapter known as service costing or something. So my major interview was towards cost only, like how will you allocate the cost, how, what are the cost driver factors. Then he gave me a case scenario stating that there are now UBS has acquired Credit Suisse. Like, what do you understand by acquisition, he asked me, because this is a basic thing that they want their interns to be aware of. Like, UBS has acquired CS, so what is this acquisition about, when did they acquire CS? And they'll ask you if you are into getting your interview into cost. So this was asked to me, what do you think, what cost would have been increased because of this integration? So I mentioned ki if you have to integrate or if you have to buy, then there will be few audits which we call as due diligence. So due diligence cost would be there. There would be some legal requirements, so related to that legal cost, then litigation cost. Then whatever the Credit Suisse employees, those who have been acquired, they are currently working on the CS payroll, but to them salaries are given by UBS only, because now it's a one group. So they'll ask you. So we have to say salary costs have been incurred. Then I was asked a very basic thing, which is the journal entry of outstanding salaries. So at that time, generally what we do is we prepare for all the high end questions. Okay, what AFM, FR, but fewer time we do not touch upon the basic ground journal entries or the double entry system. And this is where the people trick. Now, one experience I'll tell you, addition to this, while I was interviewing for the equity derivatives product control team as a CA fresher into that, but more or less fewer kind of similar questions have been asked to the equity derivatives intern, those who are getting hired there in product control. So after asking all the technical questions like what are derivatives, what is call, what is put, what are swaps, do you know about interest rate swaps, then how will you account for the premium with the perspective of the option writer, how will you account for the premium in case of the option seller buyer, then what are swap arrangements, what is floating rate of interest. They asked me a very general question at the end, which is very basic: what are the three golden rules of accounting? So I luckily I just was going through a PDF in which this question was there, and I had been very fortunate to just revise that and go for the next day for my interview, the three golden rules of accounting. If I wouldn't have studied that or just glanced at, I'm sure I wasn't able to give that answer. So whenever you are preparing for any interview, be it UBS or be it any, make sure that you brush upon your basics as well. Because many a times interviewer will ask you such kind of basic questions which you won't expect to be asked in this level of interview, because that is the thing. They want to know that whether the candidate is thorough with the basic or not. Because technical questions, even if you are not able to answer the high end question, it's fine. They know, because they don't have much knowledge. But the golden rules of accounting or journal entry, these are the things that we are studying from the foundation level. So this forms the basic part of the technical and other questions that are asked.
Okay.
Yes,
So
Sam.
in general, if at all we had to prepare for the, industrial
Mhm.
training, like the
Yeah.
interview, what
Hmm.
all do we need to prepare, and what is the, maybe question like, tell me about yourself, right?
Okay.
So what do you think that we should say that at that
Okay.
time? The introduction part, basically.
Okay. So first of all, if the first question in any interview you'll get is tell me about yourself. Before that, one thing I'll tell you, whenever you are going for any interview, be it your internship or as a qualified fresher, one thing that you should do is whenever if it's an online interview, whenever a person joins in, you should unmute yourself and then say, hello, sir, how are you? This is the thing which will make an impression on the interviewer that the candidate wants to interact and initiate the conversation. Don't just be sit there as it is, like let the viewer ask first. You should not have that approach. If you are going and saying to him, hello sir, how are you, it creates an impact that okay, the candidate is initiating something, so that takes you on a positive note. Now the first question that comes to is tell me about yourself, like what about you, everything like that. Basically, in this question, many of the students end up answering their educational qualification. I have done articleship from so, and many things which they have already mentioned into their resume. So, what do you think? Like the manager or the interviewer, whoever is taking your interview, has already gone through your resume. So, they expect you to say few things which have not been mentioned. So, what if I am asked this? I'll say, ki, "Hello, sir. I am Srishti. I cleared my intermediate. I'll quote in May 2022. I did my articleship from BDO Pune into their statutory audit practice or wherever you have done. And then within one line, you will summarize your experience. Like there, I got to work on automobile sector clients. There, I got to work on the hospitals for their audits or the any kind of industries that in 1 or 2 lines, you will sum up this. Then you will move like my hometown. Where is your hometown? You have to state that. What does your parents do? Like I have said that my hometown is Akola, Maharashtra. My both parents are teacher and I have a younger sister. She is currently in her school, like that. Then I move towards my extracurricular. If you have your extracurricular activities, this is the best place to take your interview a next turn. I had many extracurricular activities. I made my interviewer engrossed into those activities. Okay, so I have did this, I have did that. Then you can tell about whatever your personal interests are in one line. I mentioned, okay, I like to sing, sir, I sing. Then I like to compose songs or I like to write a poetry. So these are the basic thing. He wants to know about your personal character, not about what Srishti as an article is. They want to know Srishti as a human is. So that is why they tell me about yourself for introduction. So 5 things if I have to say. First, say your name, your organization name, then in which domain you did your articleship, and in 1 or 2 lines sum up the articleship experience. Third, quote about whatever the extracurricular activities or any sports you have been involved, be it at your school level also, you can quote that. Fourth one is your personal interest and the hobby, and end the last line of your introduction by saying that I'm very keen and passionate to work in this organization. I hope you provide me a chance to prove myself. So, when you end any of your answer or introduction in this particular note, it will create an impact on the interviewer that, okay, this candidate is willing and very much enthusiastic in working in the organization. Yes, Sampan.
Great inputs, Srishti. But what else do we need to prepare from a technical questions
Yeah.
point of view? Something
Okay.
like that.
Yes. So I'll tell you from the perspective of all the 5 to 6 interviews that I have attended into few of the domains. So the most important thing is, because being coming into CA final, not everyone would have studied the FR AFM part in DSS and all, but the basic AS, which is the revenue recognition, leases. These are the two very important indices that will be surely asked in any of the finance interview that you are going and giving, be it FP&A, be it band IB, or be it any kind of equity research or anything, because this forms the base of the accounting knowledge that you have. So these two indices are AS are tricky and they'll ask you from that only. So if we talk about the AS, revenue recognition, leases, then there is foreign, if I'm right, there is a S11 or something which deals with foreign operations, foreign currency translations, transactions, where if you are taking any loan from any foreign country, how will you account for it? Then we have to create a foreign currency translation reserve account. So few of these topics, which are the basic things which you will be getting into any interview. Now, I say you that in my industrial training, I went till third round for DE Shaw. So basically, I believe that whatever interview level DE Shaw did, in that compare other organizations interview was nothing. Like if anyone is able to give the answers for their interview, it's damn sure that you will be getting into others. So I'll tell you more from the perspective of DE Shaw interview, because that will majorly cover all other organizations interview. Basic and the most important thing is revenue recognition criterias only. So you would expect case studies. They'll try to grill you. They'll try to ask you different kind of case studies based on subscription models, then your pay and later use, then sale or return basis. So these are the important things. So you can consider revenue recognition as the most important AS, or if you get a chance to read the Ind AS, that's most like effective thing. There are leases. Then there is a basic question that they ask, can you walk me through a income statement? Now what they expect is you are able to quote all the factors line by line, all the P&L items line by line. Okay, I'll start with income. In that, there will be revenue from operation, then other income, the total income. Then comes my expenses, then direct expenses, whatever are there, then the indirect, then overheads. So you should be having a base rough structure of how a profit and loss account or a statements looks like and how a balance sheet looks like, because most of the time they'll ask you classification of current non-current. Now tell me, okay, this you have incurred the expense, whether it's a current expense or whether it's a non-current. Now this is the particular case, whether it's a long-term borrowing or it's a short-term borrowing. So you should be having in-depth knowledge about schedule 3, the P&L items and the balance sheet items and how they flow. Like if I am having any profit, so where my profit will flow, it will flow to the capital reserves. If I'm giving my shares, so where my securities premium will go. Then whatever is your role specific, like one of my interview was related to angel investing or venture capital. There I was literally asked terms from the Shark Tank, like what is customer acquisition cost. They'll give me ki like, okay, this is a particular startup, they gave an entire case study, you have to invest in this startup, how will you like do a proper in decision making, what all factors will you check from the startups. So if anyone is getting interview into angel investing or VC roles, these are the basic questions that they ask you. Like, how will you do the background check of the founder? How will you do the background checks of the profits and loss of the companies? Then, if you are going in assurance side of interview, they'll ask if you are from the audit background. They'll give you real life cases. Ki, okay, this is the scenario. Let's take example the Byju's case. What do you think if you were the auditor? How would you have been dealt with that? So I'll say whatever are the current market things that are happening. At my time, there was the Byju's case, which was very much going on. So they'll try to touch you up upon the major things in the current world that are happening, to so that they'll check your current awareness as well, and also the technicalities that you know. So this I feel is a basic like structure of what technical things could be asked.
Okay, that's really great. One more question is that,
Yeah.
uh, like, as you have already cleared your CA final,
Mhm.
so what kind of help that industrial training does in placements
Mm.
after finishing your CA final, and along with
Okay.
that, also touch upon the kind of LinkedIn profile that we can build for industrial training.
Okay. Okay. So first I'll take to the LinkedIn profile. Now, basically, I'll tell you many of the organizations, as soon as you have shared your CV, few people, when it comes to the hiring manager, they'll open your LinkedIn and they'll see. Like few of the organization won't do, but many of the big organizations will definitely check your LinkedIn profile. So first and the most basic thing is a proper professional, clear LinkedIn profile photo. It should be a professional photograph, not like how we pose on the Snapchat or Instagram. Those profile don't work. Then your name, whatever it is written clearly. Then there is a bio section where you should write where you are doing articleship. Like I have written BDO and then my domain statutory audit. If you like whatever you will quote in the bio, if you are win any extracurricular activities, you should mention that in a short form. Then comes the about section. In the about section, you should be trying to brief yourself into such a way, consider you are a product and you have to sell yourself to the interviewer. Just like a founder markets its product, you have to market yourself. So now there are many AI tools, Gemini, Perplexity. Take the use of that. Insert whatever your prompts are in that. So I'll tell you a few basic things. If you go to Gemini or Perplexity, you can write, okay, Gemini or Perplexity, I want to write my LinkedIn about section. Will you help me writing that? Then give all your details, when you did your 10th standard, when you did your 12th, then where did are you doing your articleship? What is your articleship experience? What are your personal interests? What are your hobbies? What extracurricular activities you have been a part of? What things excites the most? And like whether you are a finance enthusiast, whether you are a startup enthusiast, or in which professional things you your interest lie, the stock markets, everything. If you give all these prompts there into these AI platforms, they'll generate a nice about section for me. And there's no harm in using AI, because it will show your LinkedIn profile as a best thing, because people will go and read your about section, what have you quoted about it. Then there's a education section in the LinkedIn profile, where you should update all your marks, your 10th, your 12th, your CA foundation, your CA intermediate, so that whenever, because LinkedIn is just an open CV of you, so they should have all the marks. Then if you have done any certifications or any skill certifications or anything that you have, you should add those also, because whenever if a person is seeing all the skills and everything, he'll get to know, okay, what exactly this person does. Because it's normal thing that in LinkedIn you won't post anything which is untrue. So these are the basic sections of your profile that you should complete. Then another thing is, after completing all this, you should start posting content regularly. Because if you are posting content regularly, relevant content regularly, people will know that, okay, this person posts regular content, this person is posting a relevant content on the LinkedIn. And they, from those posts, they'll try to understand what's your subject knowledge, or on what topics are you raising your voice, whether are you culturally fit. If you're raising, if let's take for example, there's a XYZ person who is writing very negative things about ICI, or who is writing negative things about each and every organization, so people try to refrain hiring such candidates. So it's, don't you ever think that no one will see your LinkedIn profile. Your LinkedIn profile does play a very important role. Now moving forward to another question, like I qualified, and then how my industrial training helped me in placements. So the most thing I'll say is the experience, because articleship is totally a different thing. There you are into a shell with all the CAs working all around. Here, when you are into any corporate, you will have n number of people. They'll be engineers, they'll be MBAs, they'll be software designers, they'll be other kind of people, those who are having n number of qualifications which are not just CA. So you'll get to interact with each and every person, and you, when you interact with more and more people, you know how to talk, you know how to behave with these kinds of people. So many a times, people those who are coming and hiring into the placement drive, if it is for CA firms, then you can expect your interviewers to be chartered accountants only. But if it's not a CA firm, then many a times, 60% of time the interviewer will be a CA, but 40 to 45% of time the interviewers won't be a CA. They'll be a someone who has done their engineering, there'll be someone who is an MBA. So this gives you a thing of how you should be talking to people. That's from communication standpoint of view. Second thing is, they'll get to know that my, if I have done my industrial training, they are sure that I have worked into CA firm as well. I have a corporate experience, so they don't have to train me, because the ethics, the rules, or whatever the culture that's followed in the CA firms and that happens in the corporates are very different. So they don't have to train me again on that corporate culture. So again, our stands increase there. Then the variety, I have done my articleship, I have done my industrial training, both into different domains. So they get a candidate who has variety of exposure. I have done audit as well. I know a few kind of SAP tools and everything, because it's not always true that if a person has done audit, they'll know end to end about what are SAP, what is SCL and everything. But a person who is doing industrial training, he may have that knowledge. So what I felt is, I have just after clearing, I gave only 4 interviews, out of which in 2 I was selected, and 3 I was selected, and in 1 I got rejected. So I just gave 4 interviews. So with that experience, I would say that it helps you. It places you over the other candidates who have just done the 3 years of articleship or 2 years of articleship. But in one of the organization, that was a backlash for me as well, because they need a candidate who have done completely 3 years of internship only, because that organization was a CA firm and they were seeing CA industrial trainee as a standpoint of view, like you are leaving your organization just in 1.5 years, so it's not possible for you in 1.5 year to learn about that, and then in 1.5 year to learn about any other process. So few organization take it as a negative point as well, but those are very negligible. You can say 10 or 20%, but 80% of the organizations will prefer you. because I was shortlisted for the interview of Goldman Sachs as well, just because I had UBS on my resume. If I was having just audit background or that, if there are two candidates, one is having only articleship background and one has already worked in to any industry, many of the companies will try preferring candidate who have already worked in the industry because they know how the things work in that. So this is my experience. I like to be very honest, I won't say that this has helped me okay to do wonders, but I'll say this has helped me to put myself ahead of many of the candidates even though my scores were not that great. So this is what industrial helped me a lot.
So thank you, Srishti. That
Yeah.
was very insightful answers for your questions. So I request Ambika to take over the session.
Yeah. Just a second. Yeah, good evening, everybody. This is Ambika from Hyderabad. So today I'll be covering a few topics about interview process and references and common questions in HR round, and about the weaknesses, how to answer the weakness, and then importance of communication skills. So coming to the interview process in DRL, it started with the intro question. As Srishti already mentioned, most of the questions were similar to the questions which she mentioned. So it was about basic. It were about basic questions of articleship experience, and then we had some discussion about how to do process audits, and he gave me some questions about uh, process audits, and he gave some examples and situation based questions, and then uh, it pro- and then he asked me about my personal, like family questions and all, and then at last I asked him some questions just to build a rapport about what as an intern I can learn in that company, and then I even asked him some questions like what was his experience in the company and all, and then company and coming to the next question, do companies recruit based on the reference strongly? Yes, some like reference will help you to get shortlisted. Your resume will be shortlisted if you have a good reference, but it doesn't guarantee a role or job in that company. And then in the HR, coming to the HR round, in HR round, more they'll just check whether you're whether you will fit in the company, and then some questions like your salary expectations, and then if you when you're going to HR round, be prepared with the mission, vision, and operations of the company, and then there will be some situation based question. How do you tackle the situation? Okay, and then next question is, what's the best way to respond to the question about your weakness? To state the basically state a weakness which doesn't impact your work or affect the work, and how do you take steps to tackle that weakness or improve on that weakness? And then is what is the importance of communication skills? It is the most important skill which article or everyone should have when you're going to an interview. So even if your resume is great, you should be a you should be able to convey what is there in that, and you should be able to clearly make them understand what you want to convey. And then first thing is, you should be a good listener. Listen to the question which the interviewer is asking you, and then answer it. And then whatever you are whatever you are speaking, be confident about it. And then you can even ask them some questions, like thoughtful questions about their experience. That's it. Thank you everyone for paying attention, and thank you, Sikasa.
Thank you, Ambika. Now I request Shruday to take over the session.
Hi, hello everyone. So this is Hriday Sai. as we all met in the first session. For those who are meeting me first time in this second session, I'm Huday Sai. I'm working as an industrial trainee at Red Health. It is situated in Hyderabad, dealing with the emergency care responses. So just give me a moment. I'll start my presentation. So I'll be covering with the skills and what are the technical knowledge we have required for industrial training preparation. So first of all, I would like to explain the interview process at Red Health. So basically, it was first started with the HR round. It was a basic interview questions like what is your work experience, when will be able to join the organization, and what are your skills, etc. Then it come with the first round. It is with the director of finance. So he's basically my reporting manager. Then it is with the AVP of finance, who takes care of the investor relations. Then the final round is with the CFO. And the common questions that were pulled out in the interview were about Excel and the things that were I mentioned in the resume. So whatever we keeping in the resume, we should make sure that we are good at it. So just because I have been a part of a single engagement that I didn't get any exposure, it's not better. It is not recommended to mention the things in the resume. So there might be questions pointed from your resume. So what are your skills you are mentioning? Make sure you are good at answering each and every one of them. Then it comes with the technical questions from the AVP, like a case scenario basis. He gave me a case scenario, like I am out of funds, I'm short on funds. I required 300 CR, but right now I am having only 150 CR. What should I do? Basically, I'm giving interview with the FPA team. So they should be thinking about you, not only just how you answer, but how you analyze things, how you analyze the situations. The first and foremost thing in a FPA role is not the technical tools, not the subject knowledge, but the way you analyze the thing. In FPA roles, if you work 10% of the time on data pulling, data consolidation, 90% of your work depends on how the analysis and questioning part. So if you see there is a spike in certain cost in the P&L, then you should analyze why there is a spike. That's the role of a FPA. So it will be more like more technical, will be there. So let's jump into my questions asked by the participants. First thing is the importance of Excel and other tools for industrial training. So if you are working for a FR role or FPA role, controller role, whatever the role you are going, the Excel plays a pivotal role in this because as you're all working as a articles, so you might have, and you all know, right? So for event audit works, for reconciliations, for whatever the ITRs or GST filings or whatever, the major source for us is Excel. It's a basic tool for us, which we spend a lot of time during our article sheet. So Excel is very important for going for industrial training. They might not ask questions on Excel in few interviews, but the importance of but showing that you are good at Excel, it gives a good impression in the FPA roles or FR roles. Then comes the importance of certifications. So I planned a few certifications on FR, Excel, as well as financial modeling at the start of my articleship journey. Then I completed few as per my planning and some additional certifications during the journey. I attended few workshops. So these help me fetch a good look on my resume, because having the skill is one mode. Then showing that you have the skill. How can you show that you have the skill in very short period of time? It is the certification. So displaying your certifications in the resume will give a good impression that not only you work on developing yourself, but it shows that you are interested in learning. So that gives a better impression on you. And the importance of accounting standards, not only AS, Ind AS or IFRS. So when you are going for the financial reporting roles or controller roles, the accounting standards play a very major role because accounting standards are the basis for all the financial processes happens in a corporate company or what are the corporate accounting roles we take place. So the importance of accounting standards is also important when you are going for a reporting roles. Like you see, now I'm working with the controller team. I have a work of financial reporting too. So if I'm not good with the accounting standards, I cannot present the proper financial statements with the team. See, if I'm not good with the revenue recognition, how can I say the monthly revenue closure is at 50 CR, 60 CR something? Example, I'm saying. So if I'm not good at leases, case 18, I don't have the basic idea of what are the leases are. I cannot bifurcate the things which I'm having on operational lease or financial lease. The both should be accounted in different ways. Both shall be presented in a different ways. So the accounting standards are the basis when you are going into any organization. So I have added a few references for you. If you want to go for a free certifications, then you have three sources here. One is Infosys Springboard, and I have attached the snippet of it here. As you can see, I have been doing some more of my. This is from my dashboard I have attached here. So these are the current learnings I have been pursuing right now. And 365 Financial Analysts and NISM e-learning platforms. These are the three major sources I have referred during my learning journey for completing few certifications. Then there comes some paid sources also like Udemy, B10X. B10X will also provide free workshops, but it won't give you much value addition. But if you're joining for the paid course, there will be more value addition if you want to develop your Excel knowledge or if you want to go, as you can see, AI is booming at the moment. So integrating AI with Excel is one of their courses. So it will give you a wider experience and it will improve the technical skill of yours. Then GT e-learning, I have enrolled for learning GT. I had took up few courses. As you can see in my dashboard here, I have completed my IFRS. Then I've been working on some other applications at the moment. So if you want anything regarding these certifications or anything about the learning things, you can reach out to me and I have attached my LinkedIn profile here. So why I'm telling the importance of certification is uh, everyone will mention in the resume, I'm good at Excel, I'm good at Power BI, but how will you prove it? In a shorter term of interview, which will go around 5 to 10 minutes, you can only prove that you are good at Excel or Power BI or what are the tools you are mentioning. It is the certificate that proves it. So thank you everyone. Thank you Sikasa for giving me this opportunity. And just one moment, I would like to show you my resume which I used for industrial training. And yeah, here it is. So as you can see, I have mentioned my educational qualifications, my experience, and then the technical skills. Here come. So I mentioned my technical skills as financial statements preparation, IFRS, then financial modeling, Excel, Word, PowerPoint. I have mentioned few things, but see, I had also mentioned my certifications here. As you can see, IFRS learning with GT and etc. My techniques were not wrong. I can only find a few of them. This is for IFRS. As I showed you, the Infosys board. It also provides you the certification along with the free course. So it is one of the better solution I can provide you. And this is one of the NISM's free courses I have pursued. So that's all for me. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Hriday, for your insightful information. I request Jeevan to take over the session.
Yeah. Hello all, good evening. Hope you're all doing good. So coming to my interview experience, uh, honestly speaking, I don't have much to give a brief about interviews because the only interview I have given is for HSBC. This is the first and only interview I have given for industrial training. So I was completely blank basically. Now we have these webinars and all to know about industrial training, what kind of resume we need to prepare, how what kind of companies we need to apply for and the domains we need to apply for. But when I was trying to get into industrial training, there is nothing related to such things. So I was completely blank and I was shortlisted for an interview. They have sent me a job description in the email. So I just I just did a basic research about the job description and I was getting ready for that interview. So it actually started very hurry. Once it started, I was shaking a bit. My hands and legs were shaking. I was sitting in front of the camera, and for my surprise, HR showed up and she asked for my PAN card. So she asked me for a verification purpose, but I was sitting somewhere in the house, and it is somewhere, and I had to rush to get the PAN card, and immediately I came back, but I was gasping. So by the time the technical manager who was about to take my technical interview came in and he asked me to chill down. I'm not going to do something for you. He was like he tried to chill me down and it was started with the technical session. Technical session, they mostly asked what is there in job description itself. For my domain, there is nothing related to CA final syllabus, so they didn't ask me anything about that. But very few basic questions they asked me from the job description. That is, basic finance related questions and very basic questions they asked with relation to the technical stuff. But HSBC as a company is more concentrated on your experience rather than these technicalities. So they asked me a lot of questions about my articleship experience. They asked me what are the domains you worked in, and what kind of exposure you had while you were working. They asked me all these things, and I was replying honestly. And then they asked me about the material amounts I dealt with. So, let's say I told them I was filing GST 1 and 3B and also annual returns for GST. So they asked me like what is the material amount, an average material amount when you are working for a GST. Then I told what was the material amount, and they were like, okay, so mostly the thing is they wanted to check if I'm compatible enough to manage the materiality while doing statutory audits or GST related things or TDS related things. They wanted to know that if I'm compatible enough, and they also checked if I have any issues with articleship managers. So let's say in GST itself, so there is an annual return, and in the annual return there was an issue. So my manager has to come in and we both together solved it. And they were like, what kind of issue, if any such issue comes up with your manager, how will you deal? Because with manager we can't take steps as we do with our colleagues. So what kind of behavioral pattern I showed up there that would make stuff for them to consider for my application. So they checked that thing, and also they checked upon my Excel usage. So they asked me how would you rate yourself? How would you rate yourself with Excel usage? I said somewhere around 5 or 6, and then they asked me about a few Excel formulas, and they asked me where did I use them in my articles experience. Few things like pivots and lookups, basic thing they asked, and then HR came in, and she asked me only one question basically. why HSBC? So I told like, this is very, very, tricky question for the HR to ask us. So what they'll think is basically some people might get rejected in with this question as well. Because what I got to know from my HR working in HSBC is people who will tell, think that, just to gaslight the company will get rejected in these such questions. What I told exactly was, I know a thing related to HSBC. It was the first company to introduce an ATM in India. So I told that thing, and I told like, it's known for its innovation. So I just wanted to, and also it has a good reputation in the society, in the, job market. So it would help me to, create a career for myself. So I'm interested to join HSBC. This was the exact thing I told them, and then I was selected in the first interview itself. So didn't had much experience with interviews, giving rejections and all. I was, lucky enough to get into it. But this is from my side. Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Jeevan. Thank you for sharing your experience. Now I request our very own treasurer, who is also being part of HDFC team as an industrial trainee. I have seen his, from applying to industrial training to getting one is a very tough job, because I have seen him. So I request Sampath to also share his experiences and how did he face his rejections and all. So over to you, Sampath.
Yeah, just a minute, Majeshri. Just give me a minute. Yes, thank you for the introduction. And hello everyone, I'm Sampath, the treasurer of Sikasa Hyderabad. So honestly, applying to industrial training was definitely a big challenge. Firstly, searching in Hyderabad itself was one of the toughest challenges that I had faced. Talking about the preparation and what all the questions that they majorly ask in the interview, I would say it will be the articleship experience. So whatever you have written in your resume, just be true to it, because nobody is going to, nobody's going to take easily on your experience that you write. So whatever work you have done, write it honestly, so that any questions asked on that, you would be able to say. So whatever experience that I have done in my articleship experience of 1 year in internal audit, I had written it down and just presented in such a manner that the other person can understand. Because sometimes we write it in a very technical manner that only the person who is in that specific domain can only understand. So keep it more generalized, so that even a person who is not in that particular domain can understand the extent of the work that you have done. For suppose I have done the audit of a manufacturing client. In the first version of my resume, I have written something that was very technical towards it. But then I've later changed it and I've written that I have done an internal audit of a manufacturing company that is of this so-and-so turnover. So that adds a value that, for the interview, that you have handled a major client and a listed client as well. So that will create an opinion that this person is capable of doing something. And secondly, regarding the technical questions, for the interviews that I have given, almost 80% of them ask more of the articleship work experience than the technical questions. But if at all I had to brush up upon the technical questions, I would say, as Shrishti earlier mentioned, regarding the revenue recognition that was asked. This was during the D-Show interview where the India's revenue recognition was asked. The question was simple, but it was a bit shorter time, because it was more of a video test where you had to speak to the video rather than speaking to a person in front. And other than that, in another interview, I had questions from AFM where it was regarding the derivatives, foreign exchange risk, and stuff like that. But honestly, one thing that I would suggest to everyone who is going to apply for industrial training is be strong on your intermediate basics, especially accounting and financial management, because both these are the ones that will be going to be asked in your industrial training. Just think of a perspective that for the role that you're applying, what are the possible questions that can be asked? Ask any connection that is working over there already. so that it will be useful for you guys as well. For me, I had few connections who were working in that company or have given already an interview there. So I had that benefit that I can know what kind of question I would be expected. But other than that, you have ChatGPT, you have Gemini, just post them the job description and just tell them what kind of questions that you might get. And one thing that I would regret is not paying attention to financial management in my CA intermediate, which costed me one interview. So dealing with the rejection was slightly tough because at the moment I even lost hope that I would get industrial training, to be honest, because I started applying from May and I got somewhere around July. So the journey was not that easy. Sometimes rejection were due to based on the availability that the company wants. One company rejected due to they wanted a person who can join early. And then one more time, the rejection was a rejection because I couldn't do it well. But at the end of the day, it depends on how you're going to take it. Are you going to take it and give it up, or are you going to take it and move it forward? Because if at all you're going to give it up, then there is no point in going for an industrial training. The point is when you're able to take the rejection, improve on yourself, and give it the next shot, because that's what truly matters. Sometimes, for me, another company, the date of result was delayed, and eventually I got rejected as well. But if at all your result is getting delayed, try to follow up with them and say you have another offer ready, so that you will at least get a clarity what is going to happen, rather than just waiting upon something and missing out on others. So getting an industrial training in Hyderabad, I would say it was a very fortunate thing for me, because the several opportunities are being posted outside Hyderabad, like Bangalore, Mumbai, Gurgaon, and Chennai. So keep your connections healthy, grow your connections. LinkedIn is a fantastic place. And other than that, you can also attend our Sikasa events. I'm not promoting here, but I would say this is a place where you can get a huge network. You'll get people from different industries, different companies. So use as much as possible where you can grow your connection, so that you will have a very good place to showcase what you can do, and you can easily get the connections to move forward in your career. Thank you.
Thank you, Sampath. That was very insightful answer. So I guess we are done speaking with all the speakers. I request if anyone of you have doubts, you can post it in the text box. Otherwise, you can raise your hands and speak out. So any doubts or any queries from your side?
Also, speakers, if you want to share any rejection story of yours, you can do share that before we get any questions.
Yes.
Okay, Hriday, go ahead.
Hi. So basically, I have applied for some number of companies, but I got response from lesser than 10. Like first of all, I'm looking for companies in Hyderabad, so I applied for Divisha and Goldman Sachs, then Red Health, Dr. Reddy Laboratories, and Kitab Technologies, and a few other MTAR Technologies, some other companies which I'm looking for. Then I got responses from Goldman Sachs, Dr. Reddy's, and Red Health. Then my first rejection was with Goldman Sachs, where they said it was regarding the wealth management, and so I was preparing accordingly. I didn't expect they'd go and ask for the accounting standards and all. So the first question where the interviewer lost the interest is on AS18. So it's been an year since I touched the books. So directly facing the question, when will you recognize the revenue as per AS18? So I was stunned, and I said I need to recall it. It was long back since I touched the books. So basically, the most of the questions were regarding the accounting processes. So at the end of the interview, I got to know it was not for the wealth management, but they are looking the CA industrial trainees for fund accounting. So not clear with what I am dealing with is the first reason for my rejection. So I thought it was for wealth management, so I prepared accordingly. But the interview was happened for fund accounting. Then I got into Dr. Reddy Laboratories and Red Health. So both of the places it was a positive result just because of knowing the JD before entering into the interview. So the first and foremost thing is know the job description, what the interviewer wants from you. So what they are looking for, prepare accordingly. So if you are not sure with what role you are working with, it will be the first reason for your failure. So that was my rejection story.
We have a question from Manta Mohit.
Hello. First of all, thank you to all the speakers for providing knowledge on this industrial training. The question I have is that now that you guys have experience in industrial training, how do you think the career trajectory would be after CA industrial training and qualifying CA? And also to note that the institute has reduced the articleship tenure from 3 years to 2 years. Now 50% of our time would be in industrial training and 50% would be in articleship, as earlier, at least 1.5 to 2 years was in articleship. So how would that trajectory be? I mean, I just wanted to know that from that point of view or that angle, if you can provide, please. Thank you.
Hi Mohit.
Hi, Hriday.
So basically, you are thinking that previously we are having articleship experience more time compared to the industrial training. So now
Yes.
it was consists to half of the time, half of the time. So it was like the period you are joining in the firm you are opting in. So the basic things which you are learning are at the articleship level will help you go to the industrial training, as well as it is like it depends on your career path. So if you want to go for Big Four in the future, when after qualifying, it is not suggested to go for industrial training. It's even though if you want to go, it's better to opt for Big Four firms for doing the industrial training. Like they will also opt for assurance, risk advisory, and there is this one called consultancy in the Big Four. So it will be a fetch up for you if you are working in a Big Four. If when you didn't get an option to do articleship in the Big Four. As well as if you want to work in a MNC, they don't ask you for enter a journal entry or the basic stuff when you are post qualified. So going for industrial training in an MNC will give you an add-on in the resume. It will give you a weight up, and also few companies will provide you a pre-placement offer. So if you go to the market with a pre-placement offer based on your industrial training period, it will also shows that he will provide some value addition to the organization. Is that what the interviewer thinks? So the industrial training will always provide you an add-on. It is also based on the career path. And see, if you want to go for a practice post qualification, then better to stay the 2 years period with the article and learn more. So that's how it is.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Hriday. Yeah.
Megha,
So I guess that is answered.
okay, we have a question from Megha.
Next.
She has raised her hand.
Yeah,
Hi.
Megha.
Hello, Megha this side. I just
Go
wanted
ahead.
to I just wanted to ask to speaker that is it really matters from where you have done your articleship, like Big Four or a mid-size or small size for being in a industrial training?
I would like to answer this question. So, firstly, depends on, I mean, even the people from mid-sized firms do end up getting industrial training, but there are few companies that specifically write in the description that we hire people from Big Four or Big Six. So there will be again few companies that take based on the attempts. So I would say see the job description. That's most probably the job market that I have seen while I was applying for industrial training was they were hiring mostly from the Big Four or Big Six. But most other than that, even your articleship experience and the number of attempts that you have taken, and if at all you have got a rank, even that could add up to your application. Any other inputs from our fellow speakers?
Yeah, hi Mega. So on the contrary to what Sampath said, in UBS you will find 75% of the industrial trainees from mid-size itself and not from Big Fours or Big Six. So yeah, like it depends on the companies. Like most companies give equal chance, but few always mention the number of attempts criteria as well as Big Four or Big Six criteria. So it depends on the company you apply.
So
Any-
I hope your question is answered, Megha Verma. So any more
Yes.
queries? Yeah, any more queries from the audience? Any questions you want to ask? Or to the speakers also, anything to add on to your rejection stories? Or how did you cope up with your rejections?
Yeah, I want to add some points on this.
Yes, Ambika.
So when I was applying for the industrial training, I too applied for many of the companies, and I wanted to get I wanted to pursue industrial training in Hyderabad itself. So after applying for many of the companies, I got call from Red Health and Dr. Reddy's. I got rejected in Dr. Reddy's. The only reason was I didn't had prior experience of capital budgeting, and the role was FP&A. So they wanted a person who is experienced with capital budgeting. And even in DRL, there were some questions which I was not aware of, but I was confident about what I was saying, and I was honest about that I'm not sure about the question, and that was the reason I got selected in DRL. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. And actually, speakers, if at all, this question actually came in the last session itself. What is the expected stipend in an industrial training? If I would say it is between 20 to 40,000. So what is your take on it?
Yeah, it is around 25 or 22. It may range up to 40 to 70, depending upon the company. I would say like 25 to 50 is a average.
Yeah, mostly the startups and the mid-sized companies, SMEs and all, they will provide up to 20 to 25. And those which are well established, they will pay up to 45. You see, like Amazon pay scale is around 40 to 50. So
MNCs would pay.
yeah, it ranges till 50. But BCG is a contrary. It will pay so high. It will pay 3 times. Mostly.
Any more questions?
I think there are no questions from students.
So shall we wrap the meeting? I guess there are
I
no
think
questions.
we can also wrap the meeting. This recording will be uploaded to YouTube. So those who have missed and those who wants to rewatch can watch it in our YouTube channel.
So I guess we'll wrap the session. So firstly, thank you everyone for joining us today for industrial training session 2. We truly hope the session was insightful and added value to your learning journey. And a special word of gratitude to our speakers for sharing their time and knowledge and experience with us. It has been truly enriching. Before we conclude, we request all the students to kindly fill out the feedback form and kindly fill the feedback form shared with you in the group. So your suggestions and inputs help us make the future sessions even more meaningful. And wishing you very best to those who are preparing and applying for industrial training. May you find the right opportunity to grow and excel in your future. So once again, thank you all for being part of today's session. We are looking forward to seeing you all for all the Sikasa Hyderabad coming events. Thank you all for your time. And the recorded version of the session is available on YouTube. So please do share with all of the people who are in need of getting a good industrial training opportunity. Hope the session helped you all. So do subscribe to our YouTube channel also, and do follow our Instagram page, Sikasa_Hyderabad. So thank you all.
Sorry guys, can't turn on my camera. There's a hardware issue.
It's okay. If you all just turn on your videos for just 1 second, we'll all take a snapshot.
Even the audience can turn on their
Audience
videos.
I guess we should call out their names. Somebody are leaving. Oh.
Okay.
Guys,
Anyone
no
take a-
compulsion, but if you are okay, you can on your videos. We'll just take a snapshot.
Madhushree, please take a snapshot.
Yes. Just a second. Done.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank
Good
you
night.
for joining.
Thank
Bye.
you all.
Thank you, Sikasa, for this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.